really, I think it blew up more than anyone ever thought it possibly could. It really did save my life, kind of just like, you need to go take care of you. You know what I mean?
So, Dave, at the time that, Pearl Jam started up and whatnot, grunge wasn't really a huge thing yet. So, how did it feel being in that moment when a new genre is being developed?
Uh, it's funny. The first show we did was at the Off Ramp, a little club in Seattle. And I remember they didn't even tell me till like the day before. It was so like low key, and I don't think they really wanted people to know because it was kind of just like get on stage and play and see what happened. But there were photographers there from different magazines and that kind of. I was like, oh my god, like with some massive cameras, and there were probably 12 people in the room. And by the time we were halfway into our set, the room had started to fill up. Like people started showing up. It was pretty crazy. But that and just I knew I was a big Mother Love Bone fan, Soundgarden fan. So it wasn't surprising to me. But what was kind of crazy was as all that was happening, we were so busy making music, honestly, that it was there wasn't time to kind of look up and see what was going on. That's how like engrossed we were. And that's when it seemed like, wow, like the music business has descended on this city and has just ravaged it, and it's never going to be the same. And it hasn't really, as far as I know.
I don't think there's been kind of a music movement like that since.
Yeah. And it took its toll, I think, also on the people making the music. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was interesting, like to kind of hang out with some people here and there that I knew in bands and just what they were going through. It just seemed like, wow, that's a whole other level of this isn't just, you're in a band trying to make great music and deal with like people coming at you. It's like really, I think it blew up more than anyone ever thought it possibly could. Like when it's like fashion shows have runaways with, you know, models
Mhm.
with flannel shirts on and
Right.
ripped jeans. It's like,
It's huge.
It's everywhere, right?
that era was
Mhm.
kind of a weird, kind of a dark era, really, sort of. I think the 80s were so, opposite of what ended up happening in the 90s. It was kind
Right.
of like, just strip it down and forget all the pyrotechnics and the, and the big hair and
And the
whatnot.
big hair, the
Yeah.
neon, and
I
like
just,
loud.
yeah, focus on the music. And that really probably speaks to the mood at the time.
Dave, I read that that you joined Pearl Jam by simply looking up Jeff Amen's phone number and calling him up. Is that true? And if you didn't make that one phone call, does Pearl Jam even happen the same way?
Well, yeah, a friend of mine at the time, they had a band, Son of Man, which I played with later on, but the band as it was in the 80s, late 80s, a friend of mine, Tal Getling, that I grew up with, they were playing with Wendell Arden, Alice Chains, and everybody back then. And, I was kind of bouncing around all over the place. And he said, hey, I was talking to Jeff Ament, and they're looking for a drummer. I mentioned you, and he said to tell him to give me a call. I'm in the phone book. So I did. He answered the phone, and that was it.
Nice.
It's like, yeah, bring your drums down. See how it goes. Do some.
Amazing. And when you hear stuff now from that record, like when you hear live, what do you hear that nobody else notices?
Oh, wow. It's kind of like, we did that. That's actually from the demos, that version. I think we tried to retrack it, but we just figured, wow, we really got something special there. But the absolute, like, I hear like what we were doing in the room, and we were just like in it, like we were just tearing it up, really. The way that song ends, you know what I mean? Like the dynamics of it kind of gives me goosebumps still.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I know
Yeah.
when we were recording, when we were doing the record, so that was from a demo, and Damon Stewart played it on KSW, and I pulled over I was really close to getting to the studio. I pulled over in a parking lot and listened to it. And it had been some super classic track had just played, and then he mentioned us, played live, and then it went into I can't remember what Zeppelin song, but I was just like, wow, we were just sandwiched between two of my
Nice.
favorite bands, and that totally blew my mind. Yeah, I think Stone Gossard writing Alive, even Flow and Black, like those 3 songs in particular, I mean, and then obviously Eddie did what he did, wrote those amazing lyrics and he sang all that. We all did what we did. And those guys have all written amazing songs. But I think Stone writing those 3 songs in particular changed like really the face of music, honestly.
Right.
Well,
Right.
you could argue that 10 is one of the best rock albums of all time.
I'm super proud of it. It's kind of amazing to look back and that I got to be a part of that. Yeah, I think it's just so many elements coming together, you know, um, at the right time that yeah, it's I was from the get go, I was like, I think this is something really special, not in a bragging way, but just like uh I thought it just kind of was its own thing, really super unique, and it's great that people dug it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
still dig
Yeah.
it.
For sure.
still,
Yeah.
absolutely. Love that record.
It's great band.
How
Yeah.
about can we touch on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the induction, and, like, how cool it was to get back and play with the band?
Yeah, that was absolutely amazing. I was super shocked. Not that they were going in the Hall of Fame, but that I was included. It was just wow, so amazing, and I was so grateful for that. And then just to get to play with them again,
Mhm.
it was crazy. I went up to their space and we ran through Alive probably just twice, really, before we played at the induction. And we played State 11 Trust, and that was cool just to play it. But yeah, it was like no time had passed as far as like what it sounded like. It
And
just
did it feel the same? Like, did it feel
the
like
same.
the band of '91, or was it a completely different feel, or
Felt exactly the same.
crazy?
Yeah, it was a trip. It was really cool.
Did it feel like closure, or was it, like, kind of unfinished business?
Both really.
Yeah.
It was nice to come full circle
Mhm.
and play with them again, but it just, and then we did the actual induction, and it's like we're in arena, it's on TV, it's like, and it's but I wasn't nervous at all. I think just because I was playing with those guys. It was so experienced and such a great band. Um, that
Mhm.
it made it extremely comfortable. But yeah, when we played and I jammed with them a few years ago in Fresno,
Mm.
we played pretty much everything off 10, I think, except Release. But to me, it's just like, I just want to go like work on some new music. I think it'd be so cool. I think it would
Mhm.
sound great. It'd be a lot of fun.
So good.
Yeah.
Was there that inkling of, like, maybe I should make that call to Jeff Ament again, like,
Oh,
once
they
Matt
know.
was
No,
like, "I'm done," like,
yeah. No, they know. Like, we actually talked about, they were like, yeah, maybe we'll do it again sometime. And I have
mm,
some emails from a few of those guys. So it's like, let's come on. I'm home. Like, come on, let's go. So
Right.
now,
Yeah.
if we
yeah,
do, it'd be great.
dude,
If not, it's fine. But I just think it would sound. I really want to see what it would sound like. I think it would sound, you know, pretty cool.
fans of the band, like, you know what that would do to the fan base? It would fucking blow up. People would be like, "What the hell?"
I think it sounded pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mentioned things. It's not like I don't. I throw stuff out there. I talked to Eddie like 2 weeks ago. We were talking about mandolins and baseball. So but I'm like,
nice.
come on, uh,
That would be cool. Yeah.
That would be so rad.
Yeah.
And Dave, do you think that leaving the band, leaving Pearl Jam,
mm.
like, what would have been like if you had stuck around, or do you think that leaving, like, actually saved you?
Well, it definitely, yeah. I wasn't doing well. Um,
Yeah. That's well documented.
I'm a recovering alcoholic, and at the time was very, very, I was struggling a lot. And, they gave me a lot of opportunities to get it together. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It really did save my life, kinda just like, "You need to go take care of you." You know what I mean? Don't worry about the music, like, because the last thing I was focused on was, like, my personal well-being. That kinda came last at the time, so, I mean, yeah, it would have been great to see what we could have done musically, but ultimately, I'm just so grateful for what has happened, and
For
I got a
sure.
great
Yeah.
life, and it's been.
Mhm.
I probably wouldn't be here had that
Yeah.
not happened.
Yeah. And so
Yeah,
what
same.
what finally,
Sorry, go on.
oh, sorry. What
Go ahead.
finally struck for you? Like, I know that you tried rehab a few times and, over the course of 3 or 4 years, I think you said, you
Mhm.
finally found sobriety. What was it for you that made the last time, stick with you?
Just that the willingness, really, I did it for the wrong reasons. I actually was in rehab at 86 when I was 20, and I was sober for a year, and then went back out, and it's progressive, so it just kind of it wasn't long till I was much worse off, and yeah, I went to rehab right upon leaving the band, and I didn't do it for myself. I was doing it just to appease people.
Right.
So that didn't stick, and then it took me 94 I got sober. So it was like from 92, end of 91 till 94 I really struggled. I was trying, it's like I would try to get a grip on it, but I wasn't ready. And then I had a friend of mine I was playing with. I was playing in a band called Son of Man, and the bass player said, "Oh, my friend, sponsors people." So I called him sometime in '93, and he's like, "Yeah, come over, and we'll work on stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, cool." And then '94, so it was almost a year later, I think. Yeah, I had started to get some royalties and was kind of more able to really go down the wrong road had I really wanted to. So that kind of freaked me out as well. And
Mm.
I ended up um, back in rehab. I got out, called who became my sponsor, Loud. And he's like, "Yeah, I knew you'd call me back." I figured it would be any time. And he said, "Come over right now and, basically like do what I tell you. And if you're serious about it," and I was, and I did, and we worked through the steps. I've stayed sober for a long time after that. I had 12 years, and then struggled for about a year and a half, and then went back to rehab. I went to Eric Clapton's rehab in Antigua. That was amazing.
Mhm.
Music Cares really helped me
Good. Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then, uh, you know,
Mhm.
really
Mhm.
helped me turn my uh, direction around. And yeah, things are much better today.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
And how
That's
does it is it still a struggle for you? I mean, you are in an industry that is a party essentially. How
Mhm.
does that impact you now? Do you still struggle with that, or is it, you don't even think about it anymore?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah. The good thing is there are a lot more people that are, you know, getting it together now. I think
Right.
back in the day it was,
Yeah.
not that I don't want to say accepted. Um, yeah, just kind of got more awareness, really. The other thing that really helped me was my mental health was not, I got sober, but I wasn't really treating. I have some other stuff going on, like I'm bipolar. So, you know, uh, struggling with that, like, "Oh, you're bipolar." Yeah, and then not really dealing with that. I'm just dealing with the alcoholism was, I really needed that whole approach, and I have that now. I take care of my mental health as well as my addiction. So now that really helped me. Now it feels like, okay, yes, it's a complete recovery that I'm in today, as opposing to like, yeah, I'm sober, but we still, still kind of got a wheel in the ditch now. Now I feel like I'm really on the right track.
Mhm.
Good.
Sounds like as, as people age and mature and stuff, it's harder to keep a band together, for obvious reasons. People change, people get married, people have kids, whatever. What do you think the main ingredient is to a band's, sticking together and having some longevity?
Wow, I wish I knew because if you if
Fair
you could,
enough.
it's like you figure that out, you're really like,
Right.
corner the market. I
Hmm.
don't know. Um, I think the bands that I've been around that have stuck together are just friends. You know what I mean? It's like,
Genuinely like each other.
yeah,
Right.
genuinely like each other for sure. A lot of respect, a lot of acceptance. It's like
Mm.
you really have to. It's like a family. It's like any relationship. Really, there's a lot of give and take. I think it's sometimes tough for. There's a lot of egos involved. Everyone's got an ego. Sometimes they clash. Sometimes they sort things out. But yeah, I I think that bands that have stuck together, I got a ton of respect for that because you really have to Lego your ego, as they
Hmm.
say.
Yeah,
And I think the bands that have stuck together are able to do that. Communication is so vital.
I
You
guess
got
like any relationship, right? You could kind of look at it like that. The things that go into a relationship probably go into a band sticking together, you would think.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the other thing is when things are a. It's tougher. A lot of that can be brought on by, these bands shooting themselves in the foot, I guess. But I'm sure it seems like to me, from what I've witnessed, I think success really helps, you know,
For sure.
keep things together.
Sure.
It probably plays a factor.
Do you
Absolutely.
watch much of that Drumeo channel, by the way?
I watch a little bit of it, some comes up in my feed, and I've checked out the YouTube channel. It's always great. I love the way they edit things together. I got to go do some Drumeo filming back in August.
Oh, you
Nice.
did?
I think
Oh,
it's gonna
nice.
come out in August um of this year. And yeah, that was I was like, they mentioned that before I went up there. I was like, yeah, playing something I've never heard, like for example. And then when I got there, I was like, I'm not playing something I haven't heard before. And they're like, it'll be fine. You'll be fine. So I really put a lot of trust in them. They're great. I mean, wow. Like I was blown away.
Right.
They
Yeah.
run things and they're just great people, great team up there.
Are you allowed to mention any of the stuff that you rip through?
I probably will wait till that comes out. I don't know how it's gonna get edited, that might be left out, but suffice it to
Hmm.
say it was, I don't know how they picked something I wouldn't know, I didn't know,
Right.
but they did. But then I'm
Somehow
almost
they'll find Drumeo strikes again.
yeah, it's like they were like, "What about the song?" They he said, "You can take as much time as you want." Listen to it a bunch, take some notes, whatever you want to do. And I was like, yeah, let's just do it. So
Ah, nice.
we'll see how it came out. So we
And
did.
was it the whole day? You were there the whole day, or how does
I
that
was there
work?
for 2 days. We did a lot. We
Okay.
did a bunch of
Nice.
stuff off 10 naturally, and some other stuff. And then day two, they're like, okay, you ready to do all of 10? And I, it's like, what? Uh, no,
No pressure.
but yeah, it was a lot of fun. They're great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I can't wait for that. That's so cool
Yeah. That
to know
sounds
that
pretty
you're on
cool.
that.
Yeah. So that's coming out in not till August?
I think August, yeah, right around
Yeah.
the time 10 came out, 35 years ago.
Right. Right. Kind of an anniversary thing. Yeah. Dave, I also read that you're a big prog rock guy. You look up to people like Yes and so forth. Do you see any like overlap, I guess, between progressive rock and grunge? Is there any way that those two connect? Does one influence Just did prog rock influence grunge?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I know, like, Soundgarden was a big influence on me, and you can hear that, it's odd time signatures and whatnot that they infused so, like, seamlessly and effortlessly. It seemed like, it's like you hear it, but the songs swing and they rock so hard. It's not like at the forefront, the complicated, parts. It just kind of flows so well. Yeah, by the time when we were making 10, I remember, Jeff would have an idea to, like, "Let's stretch that out here, and maybe we cut a bar off here, a couple of beats."
And the
Mhm.
interesting thing, of course, Dave, about Soundgarden in the early days, it was Cornell playing the drum parts.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I
I think
know.
a lot of people don't realize that, and it was like Matt Cameron's like, "Well, I'll go in and, like, there's truly nothing to fix. It all flows well." And he just went and played the parts that Cornell laid down, which a lot of people don't realize that.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, that guy obviously, extremely respected and still underrated.
Yeah,
That's insane.
For sure.
still.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Love that record.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Dave, you experienced, like, a lot of success. Was it after you became sober that you got involved with Candlebox?
Yes, that was '97, and Kevin Martin, and he actually introduced me to some guys I played with in, I think, '94. So we'd known each other for a little while, and then, uh, they were parting ways with their drummer, and he gave me a call and was like, "Hey, come on down, let's jam." Yeah, everything kind of gelled, and then I got to work with those guys for on and off for, I mean, we did a run. So at '98, we made Happy Pills, which with Ron Nevison, which was amazing. He's done, some incredible records. And yeah, I had a great time with that band. And then they they were in a tumultuous period, I guess you could say, and things kind of, everything disbanded. They took some time off. I started working with them again at '07, Into the Sun on that record. I played half of that record, and then the album after that, up until the pandemic, really, I worked with that band.
And how did that unified theory project get off the ground? I was mentioning to Mandy before you jumped on that I did a morning show in Victoria in the early 2000s,
Mhm.
and you guys had ripped over and played a couple acoustic tracks on the morning show and stuff. You and Chris and those guys. How did that come to be? Because that's for people that don't know Unified Theory. It's essentially it's a couple of the guys from Blind Melon, new singer, you. So how did that come off the ground?
um, that I know Christopher and Brad were looking for a singer. I don't know if they talked to any drummers, but it was actually around the time that I was in Candlebox getting ready to go on the road. And Brad Smith gave me a call and said, "Hey, can you come over and want to play on a song?" I ended up playing on two songs. And then he gave me a call and he's like, "All right, let's track this other one." And I was, I'm in Cleveland. Like, I'm on tour. And he was like, "What?" I said, I thought you knew I was in Cannibal." He's like, "No, I didn't know that." So then they had some other guys play on different tracks. I can't remember how many drummers in total, maybe two or three other guys.
Can
And
you
then,
remember who they were?
no, I don't. That's bad, but I can't remember. But we just kept in touch, and then things were kind of winding down with Kenna. I got home and then we went and tracked another, I don't know, 4 or 5 songs, kind of finished that record, and then went to LA and we did showcases in New York and LA till we found the deal.
Nice,
Cool.
nice.
Yeah, that's a good band. That was a tight band.
If you could make a super group, we can pick from dead or alive here. Who would be in your super group?
Oh my God. Well, double drums with Keith Moon for sure, because that would just be amazing, fun time. Jimi Hendrix, you know what I mean? And Jim Morrison,
Mm,
probably. That would be great.
yeah.
Twistle. Um, yeah, wow. That
You
could
went
go
with a couple who?
on.
Interesting.
What's that?
Said you went with a couple who? Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, It's crazy. The Who, obviously legendary, uh, amazing band, and I think still underrated. Like,
I agree.
Hmm.
what they were doing is like, what is that? Nothing
They
like.
kinda get overshadowed, don't they, by, like, the bigger, like, the Zeppelins and that sort
Yeah,
of thing, right?
I agree. Yeah, I don't know why that is. It's kind of crazy to me.
Hmm.
Great band.
So, Dave, we won't take up too much more of your time, but can you tell us what you've kind of got on the go musically these days?
Yeah, I've got a band called Bowie Birds. The buddy of mine, Noah Levin's on in LA. We have a 5-song EP. I think it's gonna be 5 songs coming out anytime. I was just with him a few days ago down in LA, and the mix is done. It's getting mastered, and then that'll be ready to come out. And I have a band up here with my buddy Ty Willman called The Bases. We're going to go into Studio Litho in June. So we'll see what happens. I don't know how many songs we're going to have ready, but that might be an EP, maybe more. We'll see. But that'll be done sometime this summer.
Right. You're a busy guy.
Just busy enough.
Right. And your son is also into music too, right? That was one of the questions that we had from our followers was to talk a little bit about your son and whether or not he's putting out some new music.
Yeah, Jagger Finn is what he goes by. That's his middle name. And he's got an album out that is played all over the world. He did it by himself. Sings, plays all the instruments, produced it, mixed it,
Oh, wow.
mastered it. It's exciting.
How does that feel as a dad? Why, like, as a pro musician,
Yeah.
killer bands you've been in, but, like, that has to be up there with what
Yeah.
you've done too, like, just watching your kid.
It
So
kind of
cool.
tops it all, really. It's
Yeah.
just like, wow, it's pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool because he's such a solid guy. He's seen everything that I went through, and he's just got his act together. He's got his life together. He didn't have to get it together. He's always had it together,
Huh.
but and his mom's great, so he's got a lot of support from us, and he's always known that. So they carried over. But yeah, it's a mind blower to see how well he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's great. Well, thank you for sharing your time with us today, Dave. It was good to meet you and good to chat. We really appreciate it.
Thank you,
Next
guys.
time we'll get you
And
on
I
the
didn't
drums.
super fanboy till now. Dude, fucking Dave
Homie, right up the road from me.
Krusen.
That's awesome. Yeah, maybe
Thank you, man,
next
for
time.
taking the time.
Yeah, I'll put something together that I can.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
maybe
going to
I'll
hold you to that. So,
invite somebody over or something. Yeah, no,
Yeah, I was like, "What? You have Dave Krusen's text message? What's going on?"
uh, that's funny.
uh,